Okay, we should be live now. Hello, how's it going, everyone? This is Mitchell Mander here, and welcome to another live discussion of Pokemon Horizons. Today, we're going to be talking about episode 121 of Pokemon Horizons. We have the return of Friede, the debut of Mega Starmie, and Tera flying Pikachu. So, how was this episode overall? And, what are my thoughts? Well, we'll get to that here in a minute. So for those that are brand new here, and this is the first time you're coming across this channel, probably not, but I gotta give my intro here, so... Well, if you are someone that is new, this is kind of what we do here. Typically, once I start these streams, I give it about 5 to 10 minutes for some people to start showing up. After which, I will give a summary of the episode, give my thoughts on the episode, assign a rating to the episode, and then I hand it over to the chat. We typically go on for about an hour, hour and a half, though I might be changing things up when we go into 2026, but I'll leave that for an upcoming poll. But anyways, that's kind of the lowdown of what we do here. I'm going to turn down this music a little bit, because it's probably picking up on the mic a little bit. This Angel Island remix. Speaking of the music here in the background, it comes from a separate stream, the Video Game Study Lounge by Game Chops. It is lo-fi remixes of video game music along with some originals sprinkled in here and there. You'll hear stuff commonly from series such as, well, Pokemon obviously, but Sonic, Mario, Zelda, Final Fantasy, Chrono series, like any of the biggest well-known video game franchises are probably going to be represented here along with some special ones here and there. But, yeah. Cool stuff. It's cool stuff. You should check it out sometime. Anyways, let's see who's all here so far. We got Beast Mode God. The long-lost figure is finally back. He was in space with his Mega Starmie. Captain Pikachu was just mad because he finally got to see his... Yeah. By the way, what's up? Hi, Sharon. Matilde Bravo Kuvaz. That's how you pronounce your name. Hello, how's it going? Welcome in. Sharon, hello. Roy versus Friede will be 1v1. That's what the summary tells us. Hey, what's up, Pokefan? You didn't sleep in this time, which is good. Now you can hang out with us. Orla X Friede canon. I'm just gonna say this right now. I don't really get into shipping anymore, besides my joke videos, but I will say if there's a ship in this series that you definitely should support or be interested in, it's this one. Not really any of the other ones, since the other ones are, well, they're kids, so in my opinion I don't really care for those ones. But Friede and Orla, this one makes the most sense. And it was very well showcased in this episode. Just saying. Friede with Mega Starmie just feels, I don't know, I don't like Mega Starmie, so, well, I guess I like Mega Starmie, so I'm eating this up, personally. I like Mr. Starman here. Hey, Thomas. I see we got some Mega Starmie haters. Whereas I am a Mega Starmie supporter, so I will be sitting here glazing Mega Starmie, so you all better be prepared for that. Question in the scene with Lulu. Well, I'm not gonna answer that right now. Let's wait to talk about the episode when I actually discuss it first. Personally, I don't know. Different strokes for different folks. Yep, I like Starman. Honestly, I think the writers hate Mega Charizard. Why it keeps getting shafted? Yeah, it just doesn't look as appealing, in my opinion. Oops, I accidentally put, I don't know, instead of, I don't mind. Mega Starmie is Mighty G. And with that note, I'm going to go ahead and start, giving my summary of this episode. Just a quick summary. So, yeah, Friede is coming back in this episode from space. And so they are all preparing for his arrival. However, it turns out that he's coming across some issues coming back home. Seems like he's having some technical difficulties as a result of like some things going wrong with his spaceship or space pod. I do like the little, I guess before I get ahead of myself, I do like that Ludlow actually showcases his movie, his B movie with him versus the Sharpedos in space. I don't know if that's an alpha, Sharon, so I have no clue. I would say no. But I always like how they bring up the fact that Ludlow was starring in B movies back in the day as Mighty G, which I thought was funny. But yeah, anyways, getting back to the main matter at hand, after explaining all that, yeah, Friede's having some trouble, so he, based on his coordinates, they're able to figure out where exactly he's going to land. They have some projections, and Metagross actually ends up predicting where exactly Friede's going to land. So they go there, they try to figure out what they're going to do, and they come up with a plan to basically stop Friede from crashing in the ground and, dying. I believe it's combining, Heterine and Terapagos' moves, protects mainly pushing it up so that it can catch Friede. And then everybody else uses their moves to basically stop the impact, so it slows him down and he lands on the ship. And it seems like it's going pretty well so far. Unfortunately, the pod ends up getting flung off, and it looks like Friede's going to end up crashing into the ground. That's when Captain Pikachu steps up and goes to catch Friede, but obviously can't exactly fly like normally. Not without some ground beneath him to get his Volt Tackle started. But anyways, Terapagos allows. They're not able to help Captain Pikachu, but Terapagos ends up causing Pikachu to terrestrialize, and it's revealed that Pikachu has Flying Tera. No surprise, but yeah. Anyways, it ends up picking up Friede. Also, earlier, when Skelly Dirge actually hit the barrier on the ship, Roy happened to notice that and took note of that. So once they were basically trying to get Friede back on, Roy steers the ship so that when Friede is back in, within range, he just bounces off the barrier, which is what happened. So, yeah, we save Friede, and he's back from space. He's got some stuff to tell us. Orla has her moment. She thinks she's, running up to Friede, whereas Friede goes up to the kids and comments on how they've grown in the last year. But, turns out that, Orla was, beating up on, a Mega Starmie over here, who was taking, Orla's pent-up feelings over here. And then Friede reintroduces himself with his new gear, his new fit, which is pretty cool. Captain Pikachu tackles him and is a very emotional scene. I do like Charizard greeting everybody too, so that was nice. And yeah, that's pretty much where this episode comes to an end. Friede is back home. Overall, I thought this episode was good. I thought it was a really nice episode. We still need context as to why Friede was in space in the first place and why he ended up there. It does sound like he had assistance, obviously. I wonder who his benefactors are. It's got to be Moss Deep. It's got to be Moss Deep City. Someone there, but I'm wondering who put him into space. Is my question. But yeah, we're gonna learn more probably about how he came across Mega Starmie in space. Of course, it's like I predicted. I'm like, well, I remember people were saying, oh, he's going to get like Mega Zeraora. He's going to get this. He's going to get that. And I'm like, watch, it's going to be a Gen 1 Pokemon. And, you know, him coming from space, I should have known it was Mega Starmie. But, hey, we got our second ZA representation here. But, yeah, I thought this was really nice. I liked a lot of the stuff that was done in the episode. The little moments in the episode were really nice, too. Orla, you know, her moments with Friede and, like, thinking about him in this episode really kind of intensifies the fact that they are probably in-game at the end of the series, for sure. But, yeah, I like the team effort to save Friede. It was all really nice. Also, we're going to see Alt interacting with Friede for the first time next week, so that's going to be interesting. So, yeah, I just want to know why Friede went to space and all that stuff, because we need we'll get that info in the next episode. All I just hope is that it makes sense, because not contacting people for so long, yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. So hopefully we get a good explanation next week. So overall, I thought this was a pretty solid episode. I think probably 8 out of 10 for me would be a solid score. But what do you guys think? And before I go any further, I just want to say, if you can do me a favor and hit that like button, let's get the 10 likes, guys. And also vote in the poll, because currently 10-9 is winning with 54% of the vote, followed by 8-7 with 38, and then one person voted 6-5. Let's get caught back up on chat, because you guys have been chatting away in the literal, like, 6 or 7-ish minutes I've been going on here, so. Let's see, hi, Jimmy James. Earlier said that Friede came back quickly, but time goes slower for kids. From perspective, it'd take a long time. That is true, but I guess, in my eyes, you know, it's only been technically 9 months. Guess we're coming up to a year. Seeing Pikachu terrestrialize into the flying Tera safe here was a nice moment, because I've been flying Tera since Pikachu was about wanting to soar high, yeah. When the Pokemon U has to stop Friede from crashing, I wonder if Orla will marry Friede at the end of the series. We'll see. Friede's real issue is he forgets his space-age-approved crappy vacuum-sealed snacks. Trust. Oof. Darn. I'll write that easy this coming week or next. Been struggling with long coming. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Hopefully things get better for you. Oh, Arvin! I mispronounced that. I'll write that easy on Arvin this coming week. Oh, that is you. All right. Sorry, I'm so confused. Hopefully you get better soon, my friend. Caps, Tera type B and Tera was so obvious. Yep. Great moment seeing flying Tera Pikachu. Hi, what miraculous 365. Welcome in. It was nice seeing Charizard run out of his Pokemon. Yo, what's up, Harlster? How you doing? JV? Hey, what's up? So why can't the writers of the episode go a bit darker? I mean, it's Pokemon. It's gonna. They can have dark moments, but it's Pokemon. You got to have limits. I'd say Friede crashing in the ground in the kid's imagination was dark enough. It's like, hey, we grabbed him. Boom. Oops, he's dead. Oops, I killed him. Friede gets another Kantomon. Yep, it's just solidifying the fact that Friede is a Gen 1er. Good episode, but next episode will be better. Friede versus Roy incoming. Well, I'm interested and kind of worried about that episode. I'll get into that in a little bit, though. Also, the Starmie was already in his Mega form, so where did Friede get the Mega Stone? Maybe that will be explained in the next episode? I'm not watching the episode, but I heard it was a good episode. It was good. That means you have to watch it. I mean, of all ZA Megas, I give them the most memed on one. Sure. I'll say, keep it simple and not crazy shipping kind of guy, but if Friede and Orla start dating, I ain't gonna be... I'm gonna say they're mad or good for them. You know what? I don't hate Friede has a Mega Starmie. You know what? It works somehow. But again, he's continuing his Gen 1 team. I'm curious to where Friede has the Mega Stone on his body. Well, we'll find out. Mega Starmie just needed to be bigger and different colors instead of long legs, even though they're not that disturbing. Makes me think Roy will get Mega Lucario Z. I guess we'll see. Same for me, 8 out of 10. Or learn about Z Megas. 8 out of 10 for me. All of Friede's Pokemon were owned by Ash and Misty. Really liked how the adult Rainbow attackers that felt like actual characters and not background characters. Hope they feel important characters moving forward. Agreed. Even though some people just don't like the Rising Bolt tacklers and don't like that they're prominent in the series, which I think is kind of annoying. Well, not annoying. I think it's kind of backwards thinking, personally. Because do you really want it to be similar to, like... I'm getting a phone call. Really? Anyways, sorry about that. But what I was trying to say is, like, some people, I'm like, do you want it to really be like this previous series where the 2 assistants did next to nothing? Friede went to space because he's just like, when he gets into something, is now in a spaceship autistic hyperfixation phase now, believe me. We'll see. 9 out of 10. Mega Starmie is that Patrick Starmie from SpongeBob, yeah. Essay on Irvin and the 3 reasons why they're saving him for the end. Gotcha. It is. I'm doing good, just vibing here. How are you? I am doing okay, just chilling on a Saturday. Makes me question if it's going to be a 2v2 or a 3v3. I haven't done a video on the episode summary for 122, but according to it, it seems like it's just a 1v1, but 2v2 would have been nice, or 3v3. Yeah, I think if we're gonna be real, 1v1 is kind of like realistic, because you know this episode is gonna be a good portion of it is gonna be him kind of explaining what he's been up to this last year. We kind of need that context. That's greatly needed. Like, greatly needed. So I think that's going to be like half the episode at least, and then the latter half will have that battle, probably. That's my guess. Imagine it crashed anyways, and everyone's just bawling only for him to be completely fine. And hey guys, that was a fun ride. I want to do it again anyways. Here's my space adventure. And they just beat him up. Like, stay dead. The adult rival attackers don't have to be front and center, but they should get just enough focus and screen time to feel involved in the adventure and feel like actual characters. Agreed. I mean, they are. I mean, we got to be real. They are more prominent than any other, like, I guess, like you can say, like, adult characters in Pokemon. Even more so than characters like Professor Oak. They're just very prominent in the series. They're more prominent in the series, and, you know, especially Friede. But yeah, even if he's been gone for, you know, over 30 episodes. I do wish they do maybe just a smidgen more, but I think what they've done is more than what they usually do, so I'm pretty satisfied with where they're at, mostly. It's fortunate, but it makes sense. Roy versus Friede 3v3 later in the series. We'll see. Rival tacklers, they see Mega Starmie. Whoa, you got a new Pokemon? Meanwhile, Friede. Oh, didn't I tell you about that? No. You never say anything, Friede. That's his bad habit. And then that's how Friede got murdered. Yeah. The older Rising tacklers were shafted in Rayquaza Rising, with them not going to Rikua at all. They should have gone to Rikua, but backed out when the barrier was broken. Yeah, that would have been nice. Yeah, there are people that legitimately don't like the Rising tacklers because they feel like they're too prominent in the series. I remember that was like main complaint in the first year of the series, where people were like, yeah, this, like, we don't want this. Like, here the series does something completely different and then you don't want it suddenly. Also, Skeletor's debuts Torch song in the next episode, yeah. To mention, I made the Friede hyperfixation joke mainly just to poke fun at myself and how dedicated I am to stuff I love after getting into a franchise like Pokemon or Spike's Family, for example. Gotcha. I love the older characters, if anything. I wish they were utilized as support more. That's what I was kind of hoping for, but yeah, literally, I remember, like, first year this series was out, people did not like the fact that they were prominent in the series. Literally. It felt like they were hand-holding Liko and Roy too much. Which, a little bit in the beginning, but, like, I disagree, because, like, Liko, Roy, and Dot and Alt are probably, I mean, they're pretty much, I'd say they're about almost on par with Friede now. Strength-wise. So, I think they're doing fine for themselves now, mostly. To be fair, Skeletor went 75 episodes without learning a new move. He was due for a new move. I see. So, rip Flame Charge, maybe? I remember when Mega Voltage people were praying the adults would never return and it would just be the kids because they're better off that way, and Friede stayed MIA when else did their thing. I can see an argument for that. I do think that Mega Voltage probably took things a little too fast, and the reunion should have happened at the end of that arc, whereas the whole arc was building towards them rebuilding the Rising Tacklers while doing their research. But yeah, that's just my opinion. And they were doing their own things at first. Also, remember when everybody thought Lula was dead? And then they're just like, oh, he just died off screen. I'm like, yeah, no. They're not going to do something like that. They ain't killing the great Mighty G off that easily. Oh yeah, was Torchstone used in this episode? I don't think it was, but it will be displayed in next week's episode per the preview. Like I said, they should not handhold Liko and Roy, but they should be able to be involved in the adventure on their own reasons and play support. Yeah. It was the hand-holding was mainly in the beginning, which made sense because they were newbie trainers that didn't really know what they were doing. So the first arc was really just them building themselves up and as beginner trainers. Which is why by the end of Arc 2, they realize, okay, you know, we are getting stronger, but, like, our opponents are just well above us. We need to, like, do actual training. That's when we got Terrestrial debut, and technically that arc, the Rising Tacklers were not really that present at all. Even Friede kind of took a bad backseat that arc, which I think was a necessary arc for the kids, though. Before everyone gets back together for Rising, for Quasar Rising, only for Friede to get knocked off at the end and everyone disbands again. So, but yeah. But the bottom line is the hand-holding ended a while back. Hey, and even then, during Quasar Rising, remember when we were going to try and find Cleavor, Friede actually points out that those kids have grown a lot. Roy and Dot, so yeah. So will Roy beat Friede? I don't know. It's implied that he will. Just because if he loses, the Rising Tacklers disband, but yeah. But he will beat Friede in a 3v3 rematch, if that actually happens. Little kick in the bucket made no sense. I know, that's why I didn't understand why people were saying that. I did think something happened to him, but I didn't think he was dead. I thought he might have tracked Friede and was with him, but no, he just popped up on the ship, which I loved. Yeah, that's just because that's his nature. He's just like, yeah, I'm here. You didn't need to communicate with me. I can tell by my old man wisdom. And my little bit of embers of Mighty G energy. Because that was such a Ludlow thing to do. Yep. Do you think Friede was taking notes about where the Recurium originated from? Well, we'll find out next week. Not gonna lie, I feel like Friede and Alt will hit it off. They both like battling and was very passionate about the kids, encouraging them to do what they want. Yeah, I'm gonna be interested to see how their interactions go. He's gonna be like, who's this? Like, it came from space, but where from space? Well, we'll find out. If Roy beats Friede, will you be upset? Depends on how it's handled. You gotta keep in mind that, I don't know how much Friede has trained at all in this last year, you know? Charizard could be rusty for all we know, but that Charizard ain't weak. But Roy Skeledirge has come a long way, so I can see him standing up to his mentor pretty well. It would be a nice passing of the torch moment. Get it? A passing of the torch? A torch song? No claps. Oh, no heart emojis in the chat. I see. I guess I'll go cry now. Alt can show Friede as Mega Dragonite and Roy can show him as Mega Lucario. Oh, he's gonna get basically see how everyone's teams are doing. He's gonna be surprised at how everyone's updated in the time he's been gone. Spino should be blessed. Ludlow isn't in his prime, otherwise Prime Mighty G was going to one-shot him. Yeah, literally. It's too bad he's losing that Mighty G embers. Just slowly going away. Too bad he can't pass it on. Ludlow never disbanded when they all split up. He stayed on the ship because his earbuds died and he forgot to charge them for a year. So when everyone showed up, he just thought, oh hey, you guys, you finally came back from your shopping trip? Kind of took a whole year. Did you get what you needed? That's my new agenda. Prime Mighty G is the strongest in the whole verse. Yep. Nobody can touch him. Torch song. Get out. Get out. Bad Mitch. Bad. Oh. Okay. I'll behave now. Roy beating Friede would make sense since Skeledirge has come a long way since it was a Fuecoco and could not even use a single attack and becoming a powerhouse. He is a powerhouse now. He hasn't been a Skeledirge for a long time, so that could be his disadvantage, but I wonder how it will go when they Tera, because Charizard is a Dark Tera, and I think Skeledirge is just normal, is just pure fire, so wouldn't that negate the ghost typing? I don't even think... Does Charizard even have a Dark type moved? I haven't... It's been a minute since we've seen Charizard battle, so I can't even remember. Let's see what his moveset is. We're going to go find this out. Friede's Charizard. It knows Flamethrower, Dragon Claw, Tera Blast, and Air Slash. Though those moves could be updated. They could be updated. We just don't know. Hey, if he's lucky, he might get the Meiji Mech type suit by the end of Horizons. Oh, we're going Gundam here. Just very he's gonna represent every anime now in the series. Just very meta on the nose with the comparisons. Tera Blast when it's terrestrialized into a dark type, right? I believe so. Which could be a problem for Skeledirge. Then again, this is the Pokemon anime, and type advantages don't mean a thing sometimes. Look, both of Ash's Pokemon are fire or water type, and they're totally weak against fire type. Meant to say hearing aids, but earbuds are funnier. Gotcha. Yeah. At that age, probably, yeah. Unless it's been updated. Yeah, well, I guess we'll find out, right? It's been a year, you know, his moveset could be completely different for all we know. Bro has been training off screen and changing up his moves to adapt to Spinel's Pokemons. Based on what we saw from the preview in next week's episode, Charizard still has Flamethrower, Dragon Claw, and Air Slash. So basically, its new moves, or its moves didn't change. Is that what you're saying? Correct. Tera Blast does change type, and remember, for it is a ground type. Okay, Misty. Is it because it's brown? Look, Nidoqueen is water type because it's blue. It reminds me of a certain video from a while back about the dumbest things in the Pokemon anime. You might even be thinking of the video I'm thinking of, Pokefan. It's blue. It's water type dirt. Thunder armor. I mean, in the games, people will use a Pokemon that is weak to other Pokemon types wise. Or 2 episodes ago, where our Chilodon was thrown out by Flamethrower, even though it was Terra Dragon. Told you. Can we never forget that Arbok evolves on the Survivor? Yep. Believe it or not, I believe I remember seeing that back in the day, and I think I was just sitting there like, that's wrong. Hey, Officer Jenny commands Arcanine to use Flamethrower, and it's a Growlithe. And Sandslash is Sandshrew. Zubat was carrying Squirtle, yeah. And I believe that was in an episode, too. To be fair, Ash won a badge not by using Pokemon, by using the sprinklers. Yep, he invoked Soak before it existed. Also, Ash was super strength since the episode Hippopotamus was on his head, and it's a heavy Pokemon. Well, yeah, there's episodes where show him when he jumps over jumps over a ledge, not using a bridge, and jumps all the way up to Team Rocket's Meowth balloon, throws logs and stuff. It's like, okay, Ash, what are we doing? What are you eating? And then Sun and Moon, he lost his strength for some reason. The fact that he brought one Pokemon into a gym battle, which means he should have lost, but instead allowed to leave the building, go to the Pokemon Center, and get another Pokemon, then came back. Yeah, he should have been disqualified. So he carried Cosmon, which was like the heaviest Pokemon. Yep. Leroy Dot can't do that. How do you know that? They haven't even tried. Pokemon was also defeated and they should have lost again, but was then allowed to sit down and rant to himself until Pikachu stepped in, right? The Pikachu losing to Snivy was an insult. I get that he was weakened, but it's still like, you got other moves at your disposal, Pikachu. Come on now. I actually referenced that in the DLC, in the side quest where the NPC asks the player why their Arbok didn't evolve yet, and the dialogue options are based like, you okay, dude? That's wrong. Yeah, I got to that part already. I did that on stream the other day, and I finally got a Survivor. But yeah. What's that? Oh. In the DLC, they made a joke about Mega Flagon. Yep. Mega should have been water type. Metagross squashed Pikachu in that scene. Yep. Anyways, kind of getting a little off track now. So kind of rolling back to the actual subject at hand. So we have one more episode next year, and I also got to put out the calendar because we got a calendar for January already, and we don't have an episode airing on the 2nd and the 16th next month. So only 3 episodes airing next month. So I'll be putting that out here probably sometime after stream. Maybe during my lunch I'll do that. I think Trip sneakily drugged his Snivy with some rare candies before that battle started. Yeah. It's the only way to explain it. The Mega should have changed type. Cab needed a spine readjustment, but he's okay after his hospital trip. Drompo should have become, yeah. Yeah. Let's, hey Sharon, let's not talk about, the ZA typings anymore. I still haven't finished the DLC, so please be mindful to what you're saying, please and thanks. Let's get back to the subject at hand, the what's going on Horizons. So what do you think Friede found out in space? Seems like he found some more info on Requiem. We've already figured out a few things. So what else do you think our boy Friede has figured out? Did he figure out the origin? Did he figure out its source? What can maybe counteract it, like, effectively besides Terapagos? What do you think our boy Friede has discovered? Trip watched that Family Guy episode where Stewie gave B some steroids and then went, okay, GG Ash. I wonder if Friede saw any of the Pokemon that came from space. I don't know. You're asking a very subjective question. Probably found out a hint where Requiem comes from. Maybe Mega Starmie is knowledgeable on where it's from. Maybe he's the hero of space. Or it's the hero of space. Give me a second. Oops. Okay. I hope we see flashbacks of Friede in space and maybe he encountered Deoxys. Again, subjective. Gonna go eat, getting hungry. Alright, Pokefan, thanks for hanging out with us. Hopefully your lunch is really good and you have a good rest of the day or night wherever you're at. And hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Everyone say bye to Pokefan. Captain doesn't use Thunderbolt anymore. Oh yeah. So Pikachu should learn Fly as an actual move. Domino stuff. Oh! Sounds great to me. I don't even know what I want. Now you're making me hungry. That sounds good today. Something with chicken in it sounds good. Yeah, I'll figure it out. Anywho, for everyone that's left over here, hey guys, looks like we hit 10 likes. Thank you so much. I definitely appreciate it. See, we can hit 10 likes. It literally helps in the algorithm, just saying. Anyways, if you haven't liked the video or stream, whatever you want to call this, if you haven't liked it yet, you should do that right now. And also vote in the poll. We are currently sitting at 15 votes. 10-9 is winning with 60% of the votes. Or wouldn't that be 9 out of 15? Yeah, 9 out of 15 votes. Alright. Am I miscounting? No. I'm right. It is 9 out of 15. And then 8-7 has 33% of the vote with 5 votes. It looks like, roughly. And then one person voted 6-5. Metagross knew where Friede was because it's supercomputer. Do we know how Friede got his spaceship? We have no context as of right now. He did say something about like he was in communicate. It sounded like he was in communication with probably either the team he was with or the space the base. I guess the Pokemon equivalent NASA base where Friede launched out at. They got to be aware of what, that he was up there and stuff. He wasn't able to communicate with them, but so he definitely was working with somebody to get to space. That's what I'm kind of curious going into the next episode. Who was he working with, and, you know, what led him to going into space? What has he been doing the last year that led him to go to space? Was he up in space this whole time? Is that why he got away from Spino? Oh, I guess we'll find out. Surprised that other ship Pokemon did not evolve after a year. I mean, it depends. It'd be pretty funny if the news about the rival attackers being the bad guys wasn't entirely wrong, with Friede actually committing a crime and stealing a spaceship. Oops. Also, where did that Friede plush come from? I don't know. Maybe someone made it. Who was he working with, though? Well, we'll find out, Sharon. Let's have a little patience. We'll have to see what next week's episode tells us. Then we'll know. And if we don't get a proper explanation, you know, that is a problem. But I doubt they'd go that route. Maybe if we get a flashback episode of learning what happened with Friede during the 1 year time skip. I don't know if we're going to get an episode. He's probably going to explain some things. Maybe we'll learn about what exactly happened to him immediately after he got flung off the ship. That's what I want to see. I think next week's episode will tell us what exactly Bro's been up to. I just hope it's a good enough explanation as to what's been going on, because kind of keeping away from your crew for this long and not really communicating, I take some issue up with that, but as long as it's properly explained, then I won't have as much of an issue. You know, in an earlier draft of the series, Friede was going to be evil. I don't believe that at all. I have no inclination to believe that. I would not believe that. So. I've literally stated this before multiple times. I would take what was in that Tera leak initially as a grain of salt. Literally, the guy that actually, like, the actual person that got this and has the Tera leak literally came out and said that Centro spread a bunch of misinformation and clearly was using like ChatGPT to like come up with stuff with some of the leaks he had. So some truth was thrown out there, but it's mixed in with a bunch of lies too and fake stuff. And a lot of the stuff about the anime came out as fake. Like, I would not trust it at all. That's also coming from Game Freak, and they're not going to have all this information on the anime, dude. The anime is done by a whole different studio. They might have communications with them, obviously, as they're, you know, developing the series and, you know, bringing in Pokemon that are from the games and debuting in the anime. There's going to be obviously that, but, like, all the stuff, like, the whole series just leaking from Tera leak from Game Freak, yeah, I don't buy that, and I don't think anybody should like take that, you know, like should take that with like a huge grain of salt. So I gotta just say that just to put that out there. A lot of the stuff that came out about the anime, all the stuff about Ash leaving the series and all that stuff, it came out as like not true. So I wouldn't like actually like take that as the end all be all. So that's my advice to you guys. Friede's gonna have to tell us and the crew about that being the reason he was in space. Yes. So if Roy loses to Friede, the Rainbow Tacklers will disband. According to the episode summary, though I think Friede might be doing that to kind of motivate Roy to try his best, is what I think. So I can see Dot, Nico, Roy, and Alt going their separate ways at the end of the series. Probably at the end of the series when everything's over, unless the series ends with them just like, you know, flying off in the Brave Asagi. I don't think that's Friede's trying to bait. I think that's Friede trying to bait Roy. Yeah, I think that's him saying that to motivate him to not lose. So that he basically brings out his full potential. Puts pressure on him, but it's going to bring out his full potential. Sounds like a thing Friede would do, so. How many more episodes do you think are left of the series? I don't know, Sharon. It's kind of hard to say. I feel like the series is still going to be going on until at least September next year. At the very least. We might even get some special episodes in October that showcases each character and what they're doing. Maybe an episode for Liko, an episode for Roy, an episode for Dot, Alt, and then an episode just showing off the rival tacklers, what they're up to. Maybe 30 more episodes, maybe not. Who knows? Although I think the series is in serious need of a break, considering its production issues. I don't think that's in the cards anymore. Unless this series bleeds into Gen 10, like Gen 9 did, or Gen 8 did for 9. Journeys did for, or series that shall be named, did for Horizons, or bled into Gen 9. I don't know. We'll have to see how things go. What is this? Gen 10 series will be announced next September. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Horizons got announced in December. But the previous two series before that were announced in September, Sun and Moon, and the series that shall not be named. I don't know about X and Y. I wasn't watching at the time. Yep, we'll just have to wait and see. Is there a reason why this was Charizard month? What do you mean? Also, hold on a second. Something's going on. For some reason, the images are hiding some of the chat that's showing up on... See if it works now. I just noticed that. That was weird. I don't know why the stream is covering that up. It's never done that before. Unless it's still happening. That's so weird. Why is that happening? Yeah, that is... The stream is covering up the chat for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe I'm going to have to tinker with this a bit. Maybe if I do this. There we go. Now that should work. Sorry about that, y'all. Or did that fix it? Or not? I don't... Yeah, there it is. Also, is it just me, or does anyone, when they hear the word exceed, think of fairy tale? I'm not too familiar with fairy tale myself, unfortunately, so I'm the wrong person to ask. Charizard's being promoted a lot this month. I don't know, Sharon. I guess it's like their anti-fairy tale guild. I see. Legend ZA with the Alpha Charizard mystery gift. Friede return with Charizard. Well, Friede already has Charizard, so I don't know if I'd count that. Pokemon Unite and Masters promoting Mega Charizard X and Pokemon Pocket with the new Charizard set. I don't know. I don't play Unite or Masters anymore, so I would not know. Not gonna lie, with all the Charizard promotion and the gift Alpha Charizard, I was actually getting really worried that Mega Charizard Z was gonna be a thing. I mean, it still could be. Well, we'll find out. I haven't made it completely throughout the DLC, so I'm kind of still working my way through it myself. Which, by the way, we'll be streaming that on Monday, so if you want to check that out, just promoting myself. I think I'm getting close to the end of the main story of it. Mega Charizard is not a thing. Yeah, well, thanks for telling us it's not in there, so okay. I'm glad I figured out the chat. That's good. I thought there was always something bugged about it. Gen 9 Pokemon Megas was unnecessary. Why? You could say that about literally any gen, though. But if you had Megas for Gen 7 or 8, are those not necessary either? Just saying. Okay. Anyways, y'all, it has been roughly an hour since we started streaming. I don't know where the time went. This always happens whenever I do these streams. So, since we are approaching the, I guess the latter part of this stream, is there anything else you guys want to talk about today? Also, remember to hit that like button if you haven't already. We are at 11 likes, I think. 11, 12, somewhere in that range. And also vote in the poll. 17 votes so far. And 10-9 is winning. Overwhelmingly so now. 8-7 pretty much has half the percentage that it has now, so. Scoville and Mega and Tinkerton low kicks and Cloudsair could have gotten Megas. Mega Starmie is tall. Okay. I'm going to just tell you right now, I don't want any more ZA talk in the chat, so let's stop, please. Because the more you talk, the more you're just going to end up spoiling, so please, no more. Thank you. I got nothing since I haven't watched the episode. I'm just absorbing info from this discussion. Yep. Me too. Anyways, so I haven't voted since it's unfair to vote for something I haven't watched. Gotcha. How would Roy get the Mega? You're asking a lot of subjective questions, Sharon, that I have no answer for. The Core Z Stone? I don't know. But I think we might actually be wrapping up here in a minute. Because I am pretty much out of things to say for this episode. We only have one more episode airing this year. And it's Roy versus Friede. Probably the backstory that Friede's been gone for the last year and what he's been up to. And then guess we'll find out soon enough what our first episode for next year is. And then we already have an immediate break after that first episode. So yay. He got the Mega through the Mega Adventure trip with all nothing else to say. Alright, well, with that said, I guess we can bring the stream to a close. So let's go ahead and in the poll, 17 votes, 10-9 wins. 65%. So we'll end up giving this episode a 9. Sound good? Sounds good for me. See you next Saturday. Alright. Well, my thoughts are this was a pretty solid episode overall. I'm curious to see what Friede's been up to this last year. There's a lot of nice little moments in this episode. And overall, I think it was well done. Also, the animation was pretty good in a couple scenes as well, considering the budget. So, that's cool. Anyways, that's all I got for today's stream. 9 out of 10 episode, I guess. We'll just rate it that since you guys voted 10-9. So I guess we'll see what happens next week and then going into 2026 for this series. I will post that calendar here within like the next hour or two or whatever. Anyways, that is it for today's stream. For this upcoming week, we're going to be doing some more Legend ZA Mega Dimensions. I think I am getting close to the end of the DLC, though. I'm pretty sure I will be done with this game this week. And my plans are, once I'm done with ZA, I will be doing the DLC for Donkey Kong Bonanza, finally. Since we are in DLC December, so we're moving on from one DLC to another one, even though this one came out before. I'm just getting to it a little late. Anyways, yeah, that's it for today's stream. So if you are still here, thank you so much for joining me today. Have a good day or night, Riverette guys, and I will see you all later. Bye.